There was a report that Keon Coleman was undergoing additional testing on his injured arm. Can you provide an update on his status coming out of the game and whether or not he did undergo additional testing?
Yeah, that report is. I didn't see the report, but it's accurate in terms of it's an ongoing evaluation of his situation. So I'll know more as we move through the week here.
How about Dewan Smoot? He left the game. What's his status at this point?
Yeah, so he's going to get surgery sometime this week, and he'll be placed on IR.
And finally, Amari Cooper and Christian Benford, you mentioned they were 50-50 to play this past week. Do you have any additional context on their status for this upcoming week?
Yeah, we'll see. And I would put Reggie Gilliam in that same category, Alex. So day to day, we'll see how they do this week and move forward from there.
And last question, could you just give us one final reflection on the Tyler Bass kick? Any other moments, conversations worth sharing that happened between the last time we spoke with you and right now?
No, I got a nice view of the end zone between the upright shot. Someone in the crowd must have, or it seems like there was a lot of phones going on in the end zone shot there, and so I'm sure it's all those things are getting passed along and forwarded. And had a good friend of mine send it to me. It was awesome, right? Just gives you the chills watching that thing unfold and the excitement in the crowd, and then obviously the celebration afterwards was just awesome.
All right, thanks for your time.
Sure.
Coach Pat Freeman from the Buffalo Criterion. How are you today?
Good, Pat. How are you?
Now, you know what I'm going to ask you. I asked you yesterday, have you had time to sit down with your family and reflect? 80 wins in 7.5 seasons as the head coach of the Buffalo Bills, and this organization that you have put together is a tremendous accomplishment. Have you had time to sit down and reflect on that?
Well, you know what? I really appreciate you bringing that up because I wasn't aware of that, Pat. I'm talking about in yesterday's meeting there, the press conference. I'm just extremely humbled and grateful. And man, you're just trying to get one when you become a head coach. I remember that Jets game, our first year in 2017, just praying that we could get that first win, that first game. And still have a picture of the celebration afterwards on the field there. And I'll never forget it. Right. And so everyone that has happened since that point in time, just been extremely grateful for it. And, feel blessed and humbled by it.
Tyler Bass, I've asked you several questions about his goods and bad, the struggles this year. You emphasized getting him to go back to the basics and working with the special teams coach. Did you feel good about your decision yesterday for 61 yards in Highmark Stadium with the wins and everything on that end of the field? Is a strong decision. What were your thoughts on that going into that kick?
Well, again, just there's a couple of different options at our fingertips there, right? And one is throw a Hail Mary, another is punt, another is obviously try and attempt the field goal there. And so there's a lot of things going through our minds. I give a lot of credit to our special teams coach, Matt Smiley, and T. Bass. They're all the while we're on that drive, they're talking in the background and making sure that they feel good about wherever we are on the field. And the way we do it, I'm sure everyone's a little bit different, but the way we do it is we try and have a max line going into the drive, and then maybe it moves a little bit. And so, to be honest with you, that was a little bit just outside of our max line, what we had talked about. And, T. Bass and Coach Smiley talked about it and said that they liked it. And T. Bass, if you know T. Bass, isn't one to turn those down. So at the end of the day, certainly love the confidence, and he did a heck of a job in executing.
Well, thank you, Coach, and congratulations on 80 wins. That's a tremendous accomplishment. I've been out here 30 years. There's only a few coaches that can say that in the history of the Buffalo Bills. Congratulations and thank you.
Thanks for that, Pat. I appreciate it. It means a lot.
Hey, Sean. Just wanted to follow up on Keon a little bit since it was the end of the game. I don't think there was an official injury report, but we saw him holding his arm. Just what is getting tested?
It's a good question. I know it's the wrist area, wrist and hand area. So I'm not exactly sure, just because I'm waiting. Usually wait for Nate and the docs to give me exactly what's going on there.
And then just wanted to ask about Keon in general. We talked to Josh about this a little post game yesterday, but he has the drop pass that flips to an interception for the Dolphins, but then Josh is comfortable going back to him later in the game. Just kind of, how is Keon? What are those conversations like with him in rebounding from those moments, and how is he able to move on to keep making plays in a game?
Yeah, it's all part of development, right? All part of growth. You learn through going through those experiences and game to game, and then within a game. I mean, you saw that with T-Bass yesterday, and T-Bass is in whatever year 4 or 5 or whatever it is now, and Keon's a young player, and he's going to continue to learn and grow from those experiences as well. And if you're wired the right way, that's you look at those as learning opportunities, and they'll make you better moving forward.
We talked to you a little yesterday about just all the rookies playing. When it is a rookie who has a tough moment like that in the game, do you or other coaches have an added emphasis to talk to them about going through it? Or is it different from older players, or is it kind of individual to individual?
I know why you're asking that, and I would say, yeah. I mean, when they're younger, you want to make sure that you're following up with them. When they're older, no different, but you would hope the older they've gotten, the more they've been able to go through kind of the journey of some of the ups and downs that are so characteristic of this league week to week. That said, I think either way, the follow-up is important, and the ability to reset on the player's end.
Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, I apologize for asking another Keon question, but with the early information you have, does it seem like it is something that is more of a short-term prognosis, long-term? I know you already shared Dwayne is going on IR. Is that a better sign for Keon, or do you have none of that right now?
I wish I could say I have none of that right now, Matt. Again, just holding out hope, one way here or the other, but we'll see where it goes.
Does any of the information that you have regarding any of the injuries that you guys are currently dealing with change your outlook as far as tomorrow is concerned? I know that's probably more of a Brandon question, but what are the conversations like the next 24 hours between the two of you?
I mean, I'm trying to focus on really honing in on what we need to work on from yesterday's game. Brandon will usually loop me in if I need to be looped in, and if he has something going there. So I usually just stay in my office and not bother him, and trust that if something comes up that he'll let me know.
And last one for me, Josh said yesterday the slow starts have kind of been the Achilles heel for your team, but there is a nice sign of like, hey, you guys have been able to overcome the adversity. How do you balance that? How do you like the fact that your team has been able to erase these deficits, but also know that that's probably something you don't want to continue?
Yeah, I mean, there's always, like I've said before, there's always things to work on. Got a long list from yesterday's game. I mean, certainly good to win, and it's hard to win in this league, and there's different ways to win, and I think it's good when you can find different ways to win. I think that's a healthy trait. But that said, we've got to continue to grow every week. We're managing. I think the players have done a phenomenal job. The coaches managing through these injuries that we've had. Players have stepped in and stepped up, and as you know, we've got a couple more than this week coming off this week. So it's just about trying to grow every week and put some wins together, and we'll see where we're at the end of the season here.
Cool. Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Coach Mookie Hawkins, Waffle Sports 1080. Congrats on the 80.
Thanks, Mookie. Appreciate it, buddy.
Yes, sir. And I know you go in, you always, the mantra is, right, finding a way to win. And you preach that, you believe in that, and your team goes out there and they do it time and time out. But what really goes into getting the job done when it really matters the most? You would love to have a perfect game, but when it really matters the most, it seems like your team really just lock in and just go out there and execute at a high level.
Well, I thought we did that in some certain specific areas yesterday, Mookie. To your point, certainly in the kicking game, the offense moved the ball enough to get us into range right there, which I think was important. I mean, without that, we don't get a chance to even attempt the kick. So I don't want to, turn my back to that. I thought that was important. But there's just so much to work on for where we are in this point in the season. Again, managing through some of these injuries and who's going to step in next, who's going to have to step up, who goes into those backup roles when that backup steps in, and then how the pieces affect special teams. So it's a week-to-week situation and a week-to-week opportunity and challenge. You know how it is.
Absolutely. You talk about guys stepping up and, Kaiir's development and his growth mindset. Just could have talk about those two things when it comes to Kaiir.
Yeah, I thought he did some good things yesterday. I give him credit. He's been working all the way through, even when he's not been the starter, and he's done a nice job of staying locked in on the task at hand and the challenge in front of him. And then, he gets an opportunity that came around somewhat late in the week there, I would say, and he wasn't fazed by it and went out there and played hard.
Always get ready so you will have to, stay ready so you don't have to get ready, right, Coach?
You said it.
Sorry for the loudness, man. We're preparing for our semifinals against Lackawanna this week. They undefeated, so we got a tough task ahead of us. So keep up the good work and see you this week.
All right, buddy. Good luck.
Congrats.
Hey, Sean, on Dewan, do you have any kind of timeline? I know you said he's going on injured reserve, but are you hopeful that he can return this season?
I am, and I say that. Don't quote me on that. I am, but sometimes with IR and surgeries, you're never sure until the doctors get in there and see what exactly the extent of the injury is or was. So those are always the way it works with us is, Nate will give me the heads up after the surgery is completed, and he'll say, hey, this is what the doctor found once they went in, and then, hey, we're still on for whether it be, 4 weeks or whatever the initial prognosis is at the end of the day here.
Okay. And then, with Dewan being out for a while, down Dwayne, it seemed like Ely played really well yesterday. I'd love your assessment on his play, but also in a bigger picture on the defensive line. Are you concerned at all about not having those two guys in the depth there, especially with the string of games that you have coming up here over the next month?
Yeah, I mean, you can never replace those type of players, and but again, you move ahead week to week and try and find a way to win, and trust the players that we have here to step in and step up, and that's what we've done to this point, and I applaud the players for doing such a great job with that mindset from the top of the roster to the bottom, and I think that's important, and we got to continue to do that and grow every week. Every week we got to get better and hone in on our fundamentals, and that'll be a big point of emphasis this week.
Has it felt like Ely, excuse me, has kind of answered the bell and taken advantage of that opportunity over the last 2 weeks from what you've seen on film?
I think he's done some good things. I just think overall as a defense, whether it's Ely or really any position, we've got to be more consistent across the board. And I mean, listen, they ran the ball on us pretty easily. I thought yesterday, too easily, in fact. And so we've got some work to do there.
Thanks, Sean.
Yeah.
Hi, Sean. It's Jay with the Buffalo News. There's a big improvement in the penalty numbers. I think it was 4 for 40 yesterday. What do you think led to that improvement? And what did you make of the I don't know if discipline's the right word, but the improvement in that category?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to improve and making sure we're not beating ourselves, Jay. And I saw some improvement with that yesterday. So it's a week to week thing. We pride ourselves in playing clean football, and certainly want to continue to work on that and grow in that area as well.
So this is me speaking, not you, and I'm not looking to get you in trouble here, but a couple of the flags looked maybe questionable. My question is, hypothetically speaking, if you disagreed with any of the penalties, are you able to have any feedback with the league? And if you are, what does that look like? And what kind of feedback do you get if you send a play to the league and say, I don't think this is a penalty? Do they come back and tell you, I agree? I think people are just maybe a little bit wondering about what that process is like for a coach and a team after a game. And again, not referencing any specific place.
Yeah, no, I get it. And you know how how things work. So I would just say the process that you're asking about, the way that normally works is, you get some time after a game to kind of cool off and for the emotion of the game to wear off a little bit. And then you get a chance to communicate with the league office if you so desire. So I think there is good open lines of communication. And it's all about, us collectively, and I can tell you this from the competition committee, collectively as a league, trying to improve every area of the league. So I do appreciate the fact that there's a growth mindset at the league office and for us as well. So I think when you've got two parties that are committed to grow, that the product should continue to improve every year, in theory.
So do you get a response from the league if you did send something to them?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, I'm not looking for a conspiracy theory or anything, but 4 guys with wrist injuries all at the same time, is that just bad luck that guys from different positions seem to be racking up severe injuries at the same, I guess, body part?
Yeah, I mean, if sometimes you get one injury that just keeps popping up throughout the course of 1 year. In this case, it's this wrist injury that we have going on, and you hate to see it. You wish you could avoid it. So we've been dealing with it. We've been dealing with injuries really through the course of the entire season, and so this is no different. We just got to keep pushing through and finding a way. And again, just who's the next player to step in and step up. I think that's the important thing. And then really our focus, John, is making sure that we're cleaning up the things we need to get cleaned up from last week here.
I know in the past when you've had injuries stacking up on each other, you've had to alter maybe the way you practice during the week. Do you anticipate any sort of alterations to the way you practice because of the things mounting injury wise?
We're currently talking about that. I think we'll finalize that a little bit more tomorrow AM once we know a little bit more information about the medical report.